You are a zebra standing at a waterhole in South Africa. Then you hear a lion. Not see one. Just hear one. For an animal that spends its life trying not to get eaten, that should be enough. But now the sound changes. Two human voices start playing nearby. Not shouting, not firing a gun, just talking. And suddenly you run. Researchers in South Africa's greater Kruger National Park hid speakers and cameras near waterholes and played different sounds to wild animals, lions, hunting, dogs and gunshots, birds, and ordinary human voices. They tested 19 species in more than 4,000 encounters, and across the animals, the result was surprisingly consistent. They were about twice as likely to run from human voices as from lions. They also left the waterholes about 40% faster. Even animals that spend their lives surrounded by Africa's largest predators seem to hear us and think, "Leave, now." So maybe the answer to what animals think about humans is simple. Maybe we are just another predator. Except elephants seem to know that this answer is wrong, because to an elephant, not every human is the same kind of danger. In Amboseli National Park in Kenya, elephants share their world with different groups of people, and historically, some of those people have been more dangerous to elephants than others. So researchers tried something incredibly simple. They recorded people saying the same sentence. Then they played those voices to wild elephant families. The elephants could not see anyone. There was no smell. No person walking toward them. Just a voice. But the elephants reacted differently depending on who was speaking. They responded more defensively to Maasai voices than to Kamba voices. And then the researchers made the test harder. They changed the age and sex of the speakers. The elephants reacted more strongly to adult Maasai men than to Maasai women or boys. Think about what that means. Somewhere inside that elephant's head, the category is not simply human. It is closer to, this kind of human has been dangerous before. This one probably is not. They were extracting information from tiny differences in voices and turning it into a prediction about risk. So now our answer changes. Animals may not see us as one species with one meaning. They may divide us into categories. Dangerous human, less dangerous human, familiar human, unknown human. But even that turns out to be too simple, because one animal can make the category much smaller, down to a single face. Years ago, researchers near Seattle trapped wild crows, but while doing it, they wore a specific human mask, a strange face the crows had never seen before. The birds were trapped, handled, banded, and released. Then the mask disappeared. Later, researchers brought it back. Different person underneath, different body, different clothes, same face. The crows noticed. They scolded the person wearing it. They followed them. They mobbed them. And the memory lasted for years. In one experiment, crows still recognized the dangerous face at least 2.7 years later. But then something even stranger happened. Crows that had never been trapped themselves began reacting to the face too. Young crows learned the danger from older birds. The warning spread socially. At one study site, the reaction spread more than a kilometer from where it had started over 5 years. So imagine walking through a city while being watched by a crow on a power line. You may see one blackbird. The crow may see that face, that history, that problem. At this point, our original question has almost fallen apart, because the crow is not reacting to humans. It can react to one particular human face, and it can attach a history to it, which seems to give us a pretty dark answer. Wild animals study us because we are dangerous. They learn which humans to avoid, because getting that decision wrong can be expensive. That makes perfect sense. Until you put a dog inside an MRI scanner. Researchers at Emory University train dogs to do something that sounds almost impossible. Lie completely still inside an MRI machine. Awake, unrestrained, no sedation. Then the researchers presented them with different smells. Their own scent, an unfamiliar dog, a familiar dog, an unfamiliar human, and a familiar human. The familiar human was not even standing beside the scanner. Only the scent was there. But one smell produced the strongest response in a brain region called the caudate nucleus, the familiar human. The caudate is associated with positive expectations and reward. That does not mean scientists put a dog into a machine and found the love button. Brains do not work that simply, but it does tell us something important. For these dogs, one familiar human was not just recognizable. That person's smell carried a positive association, even when the person was nowhere in sight. And suddenly our first answer collapses. At the African waterhole, human voices can mean run. Inside a dog's brain, one human smell can predict something good. Same creature, completely different meaning. So the real question is no longer, what do animals think humans are? It is, how does an animal decide what one particular human means? And cats make that question even stranger. Imagine your cat sitting alone in a room. You are somewhere it cannot see you. Then a stranger says the cat's name. Its ears move. Another stranger says it. Maybe another small reaction. Then your voice plays. The cat does not sprint across the room. It does not start celebrating. It may barely move at all. But something changes. Researchers tested 20 domestic cats by playing recordings of several unfamiliar people, followed by the voice of the cat's owner. The cats could distinguish their owner's voice, but much of their response was subtle. A turn of the head, a movement of the ears. And that matters because humans make a mistake here all the time. We assume an animal's internal picture of us should be visible in the way we expect. The dog runs to the door, so the dog knows me. The cat stays on the couch, so the cat does not care. But recognition and reaction are not the same thing. An animal can know exactly who you are and still respond in a way that looks almost meaningless to you, which means there is another problem with asking what animals think about us. We keep trying to translate their answer into human behavior. Now put all of these animals side by side. The zebra at the waterhole, the elephant hearing a human voice, the crow watching a face, the dog smelling someone familiar, the cat hearing its owner. They are not giving us one answer, and that may be the answer. A wild animal does not need a philosophical concept called humanity. It needs useful information. Can this creature hurt me? Has this voice been dangerous before? Do I know this face? Does this smell predict something good? What normally happens when this individual appears? To us, the difference between two people may be a name. To an elephant, it can be the sound of a voice and the risk attached to it. To a crow, it can be a face remembered for years. To a dog, it can be a smell that predicts something positive. To a cat, it can be a voice recognized without any dramatic response at all. Animals are constantly collecting information about us. Not because they are secretly trying to understand human civilization. They do it for the same reason they study everything else around them. Prediction. Because prediction is useful. And humans are unusually worth predicting. We bring food. We remove food. We open doors. We build roads. We protect animals. We hunt animals. We rescue them. We frighten them. Sometimes two humans standing 10 feet apart can mean completely different things to the same animal. So perhaps asking, do animals love us or fear us? Misses the interesting part. They can do both. Sometimes the same species can do both. What matters is what they have learned to expect. Now go back to that waterhole in South Africa. The zebra hears people talking, and it runs. At the beginning, that looked like the answer. Humans are predators. Animals are afraid of us. But now the scene means something different. That zebra is not writing a definition of humanity in its head. It is making a prediction. A sound appeared. That sound belongs to a category. That category has consequences. Leave now. Somewhere else. An elephant hears another human voice and makes a more precise calculation. A crow sees one particular face and remembers what happened years ago. A dog smells one particular person and expects something good. A cat hears one particular voice and quietly turns an ear. We walk through the world assuming animals are simply part of our environment. But from their side, we are part of theirs. And every time we approach them, feed them, frighten them, protect them, chase them, or simply appear often enough, we give them information. So what do animals really think about humans? Probably not one thing. They are learning what kind of human you are. And then they are predicting what you will do next.